I'm saying? Yes, sir. We are kicking it live on Media Row, Las Vegas, Nevada, but you already know that, and I think you already recognize the man that's sitting next to me. Former NFL badass, now, of course, lights out Xtreme Fighting. He's a regular on Sports Rage, but I always love kicking it live, face-to-face with my main man, Shawne Merriman.
What's up, bro?
Man,
how you
always
doing, man?
good, bro.
Good to see you.
Always good. And your stomping grounds. Well, L.A., Las Vegas, San Diego.
Yeah.
They're all your stomping grounds, bro, but good to see you, my man.
Yeah, good to see you, too.
So, listen, you've got Lights Out 14 coming up. I can't believe it. I guess you and I are getting old, and time flies by because I remember talking to you like Lights Out 1, Lights Out 5. I was like, man, congratulations on Lights Out 10. Dude, we're already at 14.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So we got a big fight next week, Friday, in Long Beach, California. Lights Out Xtreme Fight 14. This is our biggest fight that we've had so far because we got 2 or 3 guys in this card. I believe they'll probably head off to the UFC and get that opportunity there. We'll be live on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. And also, we're introducing these Lights Out Tech gloves where it measures speed, power, punch, impact, G-force. So we're going to find a way to try to get some of this data displayed. When guys get hit in the cage, you can measure the power and the speed of that punch coming, where it's landing at. We got cameras that's kind of capture the motion of the fight below us. And so it's going to be really cool, really interactive, and I can't wait to introduce this to the fans.
So you've always taken the production of this very seriously.
Yeah.
How did this come to be where you're sort of revolutionizing things? I mean, we've always said, how come there's not a chip in a football?
Yeah.
You've beaten the National Football League, essentially, with this technology. But so you're going to be able to measure how strong punches are, all kinds of different metrics. How did this come to be, and like, how did you welcome this to your company? Say, you know what, this is what I want. Are you an analytic computer guy like yourself? How did this come to be?
Yeah, I've always been that way, and I looked at this as being like more of an incubator, right? And having these verticals of fan engagement technology, being able to have something like this, where now the broadcasters and the commentators are going to be able to talk about
like interactive viewing, displays real-time stats for an enhanced viewing experience. Comparative analysis provides historical comparisons to add context. So you're just going to have sort of instant stats. Boom, boom, as soon as it happens.
Yeah, and this is, one day when we get the data accurate, this will be great for the betting companies. I got some betting companies, they saw this on the back end. They loved it. They want to check it out. Healthcare companies, more healthcare companies trying to get this data to maybe start to insure some of these fighters down the road if they can collect enough of this accurate data. So that's this whole thing is about, man.
How did you beat some of the bigger companies to this, actually? Because this is something that you figure that some of the bigger companies would be thinking about.
Yeah, I can maneuver a little different.
You're like a linebacker.
Yeah,
you're going
that's right, man.
Look, in the line, man.
Having the ability and the knowledge, and then also to the outreach, right? Because I'm not a full-on tech guy, but I know what I want to do, and I get to a hold of the right people to do it. And so had this great partnership with these guys over at Shot Tracker, who created the technology. Actually, the technology is in, I think, PGA and the MLB and it's one other sport that they use that, but we have it in combat sports, and we're going to make this data as accurate as possible.
So a lot of your cards are often on Saturdays. This is a Friday card.
Yeah.
So you're shaking it up a little bit. Why Friday this time?
Well, because UFC's in Anaheim on Saturday.
Okay.
Which is right next door.
Yeah. So
right to Long Beach.
Right next to the beach. Yeah.
And I think that's great, right? Because we got some some of the foot traffic. Obviously, they got a big card coming up.
For the record, too, Orange County UFC cards. Those are like the craziest ones, man.
Right.
That's like the old school Ed Hardy crowd, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of big dudes and stuff.
Look, I'm going to be there. I'll be there to fight. And so, the UFC's the next day, and we got a lot of fans coming in for the fight. That's also going to come and see us. Right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Tony Ferguson's guy is on this card. Tommy Aaron, Alba Morales, who fought in the UFC before, is trying to get back to the UFC. He's fighting this card. I just got word that Cain Velasquez is probably going to show up there. We got a couple of his fighters on the card as well, man. So I think that's cool for everybody to be in town at the same time.
And you have a very good relationship with the UFC and Dana White, don't you, personally?
Yeah. I got a pretty good relationship with them. And my first UFC fight was back in 2005, man. That's how long I've been around it with Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz and Randy Couture and these guys. So I've been around this sport, often training with them during the off seasons, man. So I've been around for a long time, and obviously having a pretty good relationship with Dana works.
So let me ask you, who are some of the guys that we should be looking at on this card on the 17th?
Well, just the ones I named. Tommy Aaron is going to be a beast. I think Albert Morales has a shot to get back into the UFC. That's something he's been really wanting to happen. A.J. Hodgkins, who played linebacker at Oregon, he's going to be the first fight of the night.
And you've got high hopes for him, right?
I do, man, because he's a beast, right? He has that football body tone, that explosion. Ground game is amazing. I'm just getting him. He's working more and more in his stand-up. I think once he started to throw them hands a little bit more and being able to take guys to the ground, he'll be a guy that has an opportunity at the UFC.
All right, I want to talk some football with the great Shawne Merriman as well. But let me ask you, we spoke to Sheena Bathory, Power Slap.
Yeah.
She's kind of the face of Power Slap. They're, she's sort of billing her as like the Ronda Rousey type of deal. She kind of looks like Ronda as well. She kind of looks like a superstar. And I know we hear about Taylor Swift all the time. Sheena Bathory's got like 200 million hits, bro.
Yeah.
On Instagram. What do you think about Power Slap as someone? Because when I tweeted out, I said, man, I got the Frank Lemisella, I got the president on, I got Sheena Bathory on. It was like 50-50. That stuff's savage. You know, I can't believe you're having these people on. And other people are like, man, I love this stuff. I'm betting on it. You as someone that's played football and now a combat sport owner and president of a company, what's your take on the Power Slap?
I love it. And Dana talked about this, and I talked to him a little bit when I saw him, is that you can say whatever you want. The numbers show that people are watching it, right? That video you're talking about, Dana showed me that video got 170 million views. You know what I mean? People, that's a viral moment. I think that just the viewership between all the social media presence and Rumble that they're on, you can't help it. It's almost if people watch it as entertainment, everything else, in my opinion, doesn't matter, right? And by the way, they sign up to get slapped.
Yeah.
Right? We're not going on the street and saying, hey, you got to come and do this.
Because it looks bad, but is it really more dangerous than a sport that you played?
No, not at all.
Right?
Not at all. I mean, you run full speed into another guy that's 250 pounds to see what happens, right? I mean, your whole body, not your face or your hand, your whole body.
He's a big man still, too. I wouldn't want him.
So it's if it's entertaining and people show up to it, they'll subscribe to it, they'll watch it, it's worth having it.
All right, so let's talk about Harbaugh. How excited are you? What do you think he brings? Does it translate what he did at Michigan to the National Football League? He really preached that family and faith. And in fact, he had like 70 guys that were baptized. It was almost like they were like Liberty or something over there. They talked about playing for a higher cause. If you were playing, is Coach Harbaugh type of guy that you'd want to run through a wall for? Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that his biggest quality, in my opinion, is to be able to come in and make changes right away. Because it is hard to walk into an NFL locker room. And he did it with San Francisco 49ers, by the way, with a less talented roster. He didn't have a Justin Herbert. He didn't have a Keenan Allen. Yeah. Right? He didn't have a Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, or Derwin James. He didn't have none of that. And he made those changes relatively quickly. So outside of talking about it, and I get the fans are super hyped up, excited, which they should be. It's going to be a fun year. But let's not talk about Super Bowl. Let's talk about, which Jim Harbaugh did, is how we going to get in this weight room today. How we going to have the building blocks. See, that's where a lot of people and listen, I'm a Michigan fan, and I'm really upset we lost Ben Herbert because this guy, the strength and conditioning coach and the staff, he brought Minter with him. So let me ask you about this because I've told people I'm a big Harbaugh fan, being a Michigan fan that I am. He signed a 5-year deal. Harbaugh's not coming in here to win the Super Bowl in year one per se. How do you build this team up? Let me ask you, what would you do with the 5th pick on the draft? Do you go with Brock Bowers, who's just a stud tight end that you pair with Justin Herbert? Or, like Harbaugh likes to build the lines, man, Joe Alt out of Notre Dame, maybe a defensive Letu out of UCLA, man, you know what I'm saying? I am, look, nothing against Bowers. I think he's a great tight end. There's nothing wrong with Everett. Everett can go. He can play. So if you're going to draft a position, it got to be an instant upgrade, not waiting for a guy to get on the field and trying to build him up and get him going. I think they got to go beef up that D-line, that interior D-line. They got the ball ran on them way too much last year. That mentality up front. I played with a great D tackle, Jamal Williams, when I was there. Yeah. I mean, Jamal Williams ate up 2 blockers every time. And Harbaugh said, never mind the powder blues. We want to be a physical football team. Right. And that's his mentality, right? He wants to go look at he's talking about Saquon Barkley, and I don't know how real this is, but he's talking about Saquon Barkley. So when you come in and you want to establish the run, you also got to stop the run.
If that's the mentality of your team, we're going to run the football. We got to stop the run. So if you're going after a Saquon Barkley or something like that, in my opinion, you got Everett there. You got a wide receiver in Keenan Allen who got a couple more really great years of him left. You got to start quarterback. Go beef up that defensive line. That's what I would do. I would go after the D-line. I would beef up the D-line because if we're going to run the ball, we got to get people to stop it.
Would it be, and we'll get to the Super Bowl and get Shawne's Super Bowl thoughts before we get Shawne out of here, would it be a disappointment if the Chargers aren't in the playoffs this year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Make the playoffs this year, in your opinion?
The goal is to win a division because the best team in the league is in your division. So the mentality of it, forget the playoffs, forget the Super Bowl.
Division.
Let's win a division because we get a division.
It's like college, right? Win the conference.
That's it. Win the conference and then talk about everything else.
All right, so as far as the Super Bowl is concerned, we've got a great matchup. It's a rematch from 4 years ago. We've got, everybody talks about you just can't get in front of Mahomes here, but I think San Francisco have the deeper football team. How do you break this game down? What are the keys to the game, and who do you like?
The Ravens were a better team than KC. So were the Bills. Better team.
More talent. All these teams have more talent, right?
More talent.
They keep finding a way.
More talent.
How good is Spagnuolo and his defensive coordinator, man?
That defense, in my opinion, Patrick Mahomes is great. That defense is the reason why they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That play that they made against Flowers when he was going into the end zone, that poking the ball out.
Unbelievable, huh?
That play, that's championship-style defense. That's how teams win. We could talk about Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, how great they are.
Chris Jones, one of the most underrated players in the league, man.
My next thing. The reason why they lost against the Lions starting the season out, yes, Kelce was hurt. I think because Chris Jones' presence wasn't on the field. And so when you look at it like that, man, that mentality that they're always going to get overshadowed because you got Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. But that defense and Tranquil, how they're playing right now is the reason why they're in the Super Bowl. I'm going with KC to win the game because you know what? They already beat two teams that were better than them. And they know how to win. They're going to capitalize off your mistakes. And teams that have been here so many times, they know how to win. Let
me ask you, too, Shawne, what's it like as a defensive player when you get a quarterback in 3rd and long, like Buffalo and Baltimore did all the time, and he's throwing it to Travis Kelce, and you can't stop it. He 11 for 11. He was targeted 11 times. He caught 11 balls. How frustrating does it get in the huddle and when you're on the line when you're playing a team like that?
I never understand this. Going into a game, you know which player can hurt you the most. I'm singling this player out. I don't care who else scores.
Yeah.
I don't care who catches the ball, get a first down.
So if you need to triple team his ass, right?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Somebody else is going to beat us today, but it won't be him. So I'm always surprised when that happens. Travis Kelce going to get his catches. There's nothing you can do about it. He's going to get his targets. He's going to get his catches. He shouldn't go 10 for 10 or 11 for 11 ever.
That's just too much. Shawne, it's always a pleasure, man.
Appreciate
I know you've
been
doing the rounds. I always love seeing you. I got to get out to a lights out card one of these times. We're always on the air, but we're going to do this. Check it out next Friday night. It's on Fubo, and if you're in the area in Southern California, Long Beach, California is the place to be. It's always a pleasure, man.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Good stuff. There's Shawne Merriman with us. We're kicking it live in Las Vegas, Nevada. Countdown to kickoff is on Super Bowl 58. Our coverage on the grid continues. Bring it.